My name Wayman Humphrey, and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Home of the Steelers. Steel Town, USA, baby.
You can't be too happy about it because you don't even live there no more.
That's all right.
You're gone.
Right.
You left that behind.
Right. I left it behind. It's a little troublesome. But I bleed. See that? Can y'all see that? 15104 representing, baby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say cool. So, when did you leave Pittsburgh? Because you've been away for a while.
Been away for a minute, man. I left Pittsburgh in 1989, and I went to the military.
Okay.
So
you joined the Army.
Joined the Army. Yeah, I don't even know. That's a lot of years to add and subtract. That.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
A long time, man.
A long time ago. We know you're old. It's okay. So, did you leave for the Army right at high school? Or did you go to college?
Right out of high school.
Yeah?
Yeah. Graduated high school a month or so, and I was gone.
Okay.
Fort Benning. And I came down here.
And been gone since. From Pittsburgh ever since.
Yep.
As much as you love it, you ain't going back.
I visit, you know. I got people in Pittsburgh and in Philly, so
okay.
I got to split my time where I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in growing up, and what was your first memory of art?
My first memory of cartoons.
Cartoons.
Yeah. And I remember you had said it too, and it was just like almost the same thing. I was like, the first cartoon I could really take in and be like, how are they making these animated or cartoon things move? Mm-hmm. I had to be maybe 6 or 7. I was drawn even before then. Like, just my mom said I was scribbling better than most little kids scribble. So
okay.
But the cartoon was Danger Mouse. You remember Danger Mouse?
Yeah.
Yep. When I seen that cartoon, I was like, that's dope. And it was the crudest animation ever. But I was hooked.
Just hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And did you start drawing around that time? Did you
start and I would draw Danger Mouse and Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And I would always draw like the side view of Godzilla, like with the fire. And then I would do a whole city background.
Okay.
And helicopters with shining lights, and then a tank shooting at guys. So it was a whole scene I would always do.
Because you were a fan of Godzilla.
I was a fan of Godzilla. Everybody was. Mm-hmm. Still a fan.
Okay.
Godzilla. Yeah, man.
And what grade were you in when you remember this?
Maybe what is 6? Is that
6th grade?
Yeah. No.
Or 6 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 2nd grade.
2nd grade. Mm-hmm.
First, 2nd grade.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yep.
And
I was at my babysitter's. I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And she put my picture on the refrigerator. You know, you get put on the refrigerator.
That's it.
At the babysitter.
You're moving up.
Yeah. You the man then. I was like, yeah. Mom came and picked me up. I was like, yeah, my picture's on the refrigerator. It was on top.
And you followed that up in school?
In school, you know, middle school, high school. I actually, in high school, I created my high school logo, my mascot.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the high school I went to was Swissvale, but then it was 2 other high schools, and we was merging into one called the Wolverines.
Okay.
And they put out for them whole 3 high schools, you know, like, we need somebody to create the mascot. And I drew a mascot, and they won. Okay. Yeah.
Are they using it still?
It's you can see a change variation. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm in the paper and everything.
You have to establish it. All right.
Yeah. They should be. Y'all should be paying me.
So you got some juice for that, and you were involved in art activities in school.
High school again. So at our high school, you could do 9 and 10 9th and 10th grade at the regular school, but then 11 and 12 you got to go to a vocational school.
Okay.
And so I went out there for commercial art.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Rulers and protractors.
All that. Like, we learned a lot of stuff. Because I didn't know what commercial art was. You know, they was just like, oh, you get to draw and you don't have to be here. I was like, I'm out. So that, you know, vocational was like, you had the girls doing cosmetology, you had the dudes doing auto mechanics, and then you had chefs out there, dentistry, all like
really cool.
Yeah, okay. Like little things where it prepped you once you got out of high school. And I went to I had commercial art. We learned photography, like you said, all type of rulers. I can't think of the word right now, but you had to do like layers of when you set the camera up and you had to take
camera ready artwork.
Yeah, all that stuff, man. And that's where I
color separation.
All of yep, color separation.
That's what I heard because I ain't never done that in real life.
No, that's what it was. And you had little tick marks. You had to line stuff up and all that. But that's where I passed up my scholarship. I had a scholarship to go to the Art Institute.
Okay.
And what's his name who come through here sometime?
Wade.
Yeah. He was up there around the same time. We never ran into each other, but.
So you had a scholarship to go to the Art Institute in Pittsburgh.
And my professor or my teacher back then, she was upset because I didn't want to go. When they told me, when you go to college, it's like regular school. You still got to do math, English. And
you said, nah, man, I ain't doing that.
I ain't doing it. That's when I went to the military. Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, it was a good choice. You know, not the best, but it was okay.
All right. And who put in for the scholarship?
My teacher.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was between me and another guy, and when I didn't go, he went.
Okay.
Yeah, he jumped on it too.
Right.
She was upset at me for probably the rest of the school year. But yeah, I was dumb, young, ain't know nothing. You know, nobody that I grew up with was like really pushing. Oh, you should go to college. You should try that. You know. We was just out there, man, trying to hustling and trying to make ends meet.
Right.
You know, so.
And whose idea was it for the Army?
Me and my cousin, kinda. You know, when we was growing up too, we would play Army. You know, every boy had a gun and thought they was G.I. Joe. And I knew my cousin was in the military. So, like I said, you know, you kind of do what you see others doing. And she was, I think she was Air Force. And I didn't go Air Force, but I was like, okay, well, at least she doing something. Me and my cousin, we was getting ready to sign up for the Marines. And I know this ain't art related, but the Marines, we had done a few little things with them before we were going to go in. One day they called and they was like, yo, where you at? It was thunderstorming and everything. I said, man, you don't hear this lightning? He said, man, if you don't bring your... I hung up the phone. I said, let me call the Army recruiter.
What?
They fed me pizza. We went on picnics. They sold me right there. I was sold. Yeah. Went on in, man.
And then
so that's my military entry story.
Right.
But yeah, my cousin, he went to the Marines. Though.
Marines are too tough. I ain't doing all that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
They're gonna be out there in the rain.
Yeah. You know, you from the streets, a senior still in high school, and some dude tell you to come out in a thunderstorm and lightning. I ain't doing it. I'm sure that you did, because you was in the Marines.
I was in the Marines.
Somebody would have came and told you that at high school.
I don't know. I never thought about it like that.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, at least you had the good sense to stand up for yourself and doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to go to college and have to deal with math and all that crap, and just jump into the thing that you really wanted to do. So if they weren't going to do it like that, then you're out.
Then if it wasn't my way or my rules, and I could say yes or no, because you know once you get in the military, it's just more yes than no. But Yeah, man. So I don't know if I would have took that scholarship. Who knows where I'd be right now?
Mm-hmm.
You know. But that's hindsight.
Sure.
We're here now.
Right. So you left for the Army. You came down to Fort Benning. Did your training.
And all through there, I was still drawing. You know, I always kept a sketchbook. Just doodling wherever I could. Got out of basic. Still draw. And, you know, I would do logos for people. It wasn't like they was really paying. Because I wasn't really on the art life, art business type thing. It was just more like, I love to draw. You want something, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did the logo for my company unit. We had Bradleys, and they're smaller tanks. Mm-hmm. And it was we was the Warhawks. And I drew a little silhouette of a hawk, and he was like, ah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
So you drew it, and they put on shirts or something,
and spray painted on the tanks, everything. Yeah, yeah. Like Top Gun. You know how you see the guys, they had the little tick marks and all that stuff on the side of the plane? We was the same on the side of the tank stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
So you're still doing
still drawing
stuff.
You know, every chance I could get. Heck, even out in the field, I'd bring my sketchbook and do some stuff there too, bro.
That's good. Did you ever get in trouble for drawing a lot or?
No, You know, in the military, you was in there. Military is just like a regular job. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you wake up in the morning, you do a little more than most regular people. You got to do PT. Mm-hmm. You go to eat chow. You do your regular job, and then after that, you off at 4:30.
Right.
Do whatever you want to do. So yeah.
Because I was in the Marine Corps and I had a desk job, but instead of doing my work, I was drawing. But I was indoors on the desk. Yeah. I had paper, pencils, and stuff all around me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was infantry, so we had to be at the motor pool. There wasn't, no desk or nothing where I could really sit down and do what I wanted. But yeah, back in my room, I had my desk with, a few pencils that you could buy from like the PX or like a little local store or something. Because even then, I don't even think I really knew about like art stores like that either.
Right.
Like now, shoot, there ain't no Sam Flax or no binders or nothing. I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
I need to be in the art store. I like the smell of pencils and lead and all that stuff. So.
All right. So you're in the Army, you go to war, come back. 8 years later, you get out. Are you married already? When did you get married?
I got married in 92.
Mm-hmm. So early. In your first enlistment.
In first enlistment. Yeah. I guess you turned me out.
Mm-hmm. I used to say if the government wanted you to have a wife, they would issue you one.
Yeah, they still they loosened up a little bit, doggone millennials. But yeah, they didn't really care too much about the spouse or anything like that. So, but yeah, man. So I did 8 years, got out, and still wasn't, really focused on doing art. But as you grow older, then you say, okay, maybe I could make a little money off of that. So it still would be people trickling in like, oh, I got a portrait of my daughter I want you to do, and I would charge them, but it still wasn't like business. The business aspect of it was, there was no business aspect of it. It was just,
they just happened to catch you.
They knew I could draw. Yeah, and then be like, oh, hey, can you do this? And I would do it. So, yeah. And
then I decided to go to Art Institute.
No. This was still a while, man. After I got out, I would do the little odd things like that. Then I got a divorce. That's what pushed me to do some other, and I wouldn't say really even still wasn't even focused. I was just like, you know what? Somebody told me about a program. I can go to school. The military pay for it. I was like, I might as well go. I'm old, money. I need to use it. And then I wanted my kids to see that I was doing something, So I went to the Art Institute. A guy there asked, I don't know how we got into the conversation, but he was another veteran. He was like, yeah, they paying for everything. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. So I went there, signed up, and then I transferred to SCAD. And that's where I really started just wanting to do something in art. I wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I wanted to, be entrepreneur or individual or be on a team or something. I just knew I wanted to now go down that art path.
Mm-hmm. So you went to SCAD and took what kind of classes? What was your focus?
Focus on animation, and maybe halfway through, I knew I didn't want to animate. Mm-hmm. And I had a professor look at one of my sketchbooks. He said, you don't need to animate. This is what you need to be doing. And he showed me ZBrush. And so I just fell in love with ZBrush. And that's all I really wanted to do. But I had to, animate to pass and get out of school. But, I graduated with animation, bachelor's in fine arts.
Okay.
So, yeah, man.
And in the process, you've been building your online social media brand.
So I started that when I first went to school, and I had like you got the skulls. Mm-hmm. I had a real skull from Georgia Tech when I worked down there, and it just travels with me wherever I go now. I think it's out in one of them boxes, but that's my skull.
Not a human skull.
Not a real human skull, but it's a replica.
Sure.
Of, yeah. And a friend of mine, he was like, that looks kind of mad. And I was like, Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of Joe Mad Moderia. Yeah. Uh-huh. And he would always sign his stuff Mad. Like, it wouldn't be his name or anything, but you knew it was his stuff. And I was like, I'm going to add a penciler to the end of that. And that's how I became the Mad Penciler.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the skull had to do with it. I don't know, like I said, a little bit of the Mad because he signed his stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And somehow it all just came together.
Okay.
When I started school, Instagram was a little baby. And I was kind of still new to social media too. Like, I mean, everybody had Facebook. And what was the one before then?
MySpace?
MySpace. Everybody had a MySpace. And I wasn't the Mad Penciler then. But when I started going to school, that's when I created it. And I just stuck with it. I liked the way it sounded. I liked the way it rung. Mm-hmm. Whenever people said it, they immediately put me with that. So I just kept doing it, man. Heck, it's been, 4 or 5 years now? Maybe 6 that I've been consistently on Instagram, I know. Mm-hmm. And then, started branching to YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff like that. So,
So what is, so you're the Mad Penciler, and your instructor looked at your sketchbook and said, this is what you should be working on. And what are the things in the ZBrush stuff? So what is the focus of your art? Like, what is it? What are some of your themes?
Anatomy mainly is what I want people to understand that I love. Is I like drawing anatomy. Yes, mainly women, but so be it. How ZBrush comes into play is that for me, ZBrush almost feels like I'm drawing, on regular paper or digitally drawing something. But after it's over, now I have a full 3D rendered object that I can now send to somebody if they want to animate it or do whatever they want to do to it. Or heck, I can animate it, but
they can change the poses and stuff. Yeah.
So you do that. You build something, then you send it to a rigger. They'll put a skeleton in it.
Okay.
And then they'll send it to the animation, and then they can make it move.
Wow.
So yeah, man, that's the quick and dirty
explanation now.
Yeah, but there's a few other things in between that probably can be tweaked out. But yeah. So all that stuff you see me doing videos of, all that could be animated at some point down the line.
But you like the beginning part.
I like the beginning. Yeah. You know, and you the same way. Like we like more concept work. You know what I'm saying? The creation of like if somebody got an idea and they can't draw, they tell us what it is. They give us a little freeway. I'll throw it out there. Or if it's just they say, hey, here's the story, you create the characters. Then I still have a lot of freedom. And that was the one reason I didn't want to animate, because there was no freedom in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You gotta stick to
whatever they say.
Once the character set, the character the same every time. Yep.
And you know, it takes months and years to animate, you know, very little scenes. The time wise, and I didn't want to do that. I as just kept getting closer to graduation, I was like, I definitely want to be on the front end of the pipeline than the back end. So.
Okay. And so let's see. So you're out of college. You're still you're a working artist because you do commission work. You have a website and clients hit you up.
I get out of college, and I known you well before college and before, heck, probably before my divorce. If I think about it, I can't remember when I first met you, but Corey did my tattoo, and I seen your work on the wall. I was like, who did that? He's like, oh, my boy DTM. He's a tattoo artist. But you every time, and I started spinning. I think y'all was on 78. I can't think of the name of the tattoo. Monster. Yeah. And so me and Corey kind of just really hit it off. Cool, you know, and he did the tattoos, and then I would just start hanging out over there a little bit. But you would never be there. I was like, man, why ain't he never coming? Like, where is this? You said he tattoos up here. Where does do that? And I think he gave me your number, or he somehow connected it, and then we met at the coffee shop right down the street. There used to be a Starbucks right down there on the lake.
Yeah,
you remember? Yeah. And when I met you, you was all about business. You was like, "How you getting paid? This is how much." You know what I'm saying? You kind of went through the Dan spiel, and I was like, "Word." And then, you know, I don't think we was like cool. You know what I'm saying? But we every now and then, hey, what's going on? Then you guys moved down here. I forgot where I was going with it. But, after I graduated, and I was saying when I had met you, and so the whole working artist, I was looking online, I seen you had an opening for an internship. And like I said, I would see you at events and different things, and I was like, well, man, he got an internship now. Let me apply. And I think you hit me back and was like, yeah, you know, come on through, we'll talk, make sure you're a fit or whatever. And I knew I'd be a fit, but yeah, man. And the internship has just night and day. You know what I'm saying? I think we coming up, me and Kelsey was talking about, I think we coming up on a year now. And from the first, you know, day I came in to even now, I'm sure even at the end of the year I'll have grown and changed more, but it's night and day, man. Night and day, bro. It's a good program, you know.
And your current goals are what?
My current goals are to be sponsored by bigger companies to pay me to go draw. That's the end all. Like, if I could like dream big and be like, oh, if you could have anything you want, what is it? Is to have Strathmore, Pentel, whoever pay me to teach people and to draw and talk about how to draw hands and feet. That would be the ultimate goal. But there are other little goals, you know, to get to that. So I don't know if you wanted to hear any of those little.
Sure. What are some of the other ones? And what are you? So what? Because you're working on those right now.
Yeah. So one of the goals was to do an ebook.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have an ebook. Me and you and Aisha, we sat down, came up with a plan. Had dates. I had to meet the dates, and I have an ebook. The next plan is to do a part 2, working on heads, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, the head. And then after that is to start getting more sponsors. At the same time, I'm also apprenticed under you as tattooing. So, there's a bunch of goals that I feel like I have accomplished and will accomplish the other ones that are set.
Because right now you still have a job.
Yes.
But you want to fill your life with art.
Right. So the plan is to, again, that's another one of the goals is to make as much money as I'm making at the day job, so I can leave and then become a full-time working artist. Right now I'm a part-time working artist, and I like it, because I feel like you have to like something, as far as the business part and stuff, to really want to do it. Like, I think it's the same with relationships and stuff. Like, love is just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can fall in and out of love. But if you like something and you put in your time and effort and everything else into it, you must like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I just feel like is a more stronger action than love. Because I could wake up and be like, I can't stand you. But I still get up and I draw because I like to draw.
Right.
And granted, I love to, but I think is a more thing.
All right. So what are your social medias? Where can we find you online?
Find me online anywhere. The Mad Penciler. 2 D's.
On the word mad.
On the mad. So
because you double D mad.
Doubly crazy. No, anywhere. And so I was part of the goal, and some of them are very little goals, you know what I'm saying? But to be one across all platforms where people can find you, that's big, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to tell somebody because I had the Blue Lines Project. It was like, go to the Blue Lines Project on YouTube, but then go to Mad Penciler here, go to somebody else here. You have people confused. Now you ask me, Mad Pencil, you could type that anywhere and I'll pop up. I was surprised when I popped up on Google and there I am. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So,
it's happening. All right, so last question. If you had some advice to give your younger self, either 10 years ago, 20 years ago, self, what kind of creative, artistic advice would you give yourself?
That's a good question. I like that question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Be serious and combine the business with art. Because, you have, when I was in college, I was a rare student because I was one of the oldest students there, and there was a lot of young kids coming in there, and everybody wants to work for Pixar and work for this and or do their own thing, make their own comics or whatever. And until you can marry the art with the business, you're just gonna be out there spinning your wheels, like for real, just a truck in the mud, just forever until you put that business, and in the business probably got to do more than that than the art. You know what I'm saying? Until you can, you have certain things in place like contracts and lawyers and websites, all that, the little minute business things will catch you up if it's not right. And you could be the best artist out there, but if your business practices aren't on point, or anywhere near point, you losing. You losing money. It's all about that money. Give us some money.